very good morning to you, and thank you so much for joining us this morning right here on Kirk Mid Morning. My name is Faith Kaulu, and I'm excited to have you on board this day. Few days, 6 days to Valentines, the big day. We're all looking forward to it. If you're in a marriage, in a relationship, or looking to get someone, you probably have a list and things you're writing down to see how you'll make your partner happy. And that is what we're talking about on today's program, the Valentine's Wave. And to have this discussion with me is Cynthia Wambuoteno, who is a relationship coach, as well as the founder and CEO of Lamid Network Trust. Karibu sana.
Asante sana. Thank you for having me here, Faith.
Excited to have you as well.
Asante.
And I can see we have the red thing going.
Yeah, we have to.
We got the memo.
We did.
Karibu.
Asante.
And at the very far end is Mark Vince, the CEO of Mark Vince Empire Foundation. Karibu sana this morning.
Pleasure. It's always good to be here.
Yeah.
Yes.
Looking forward to hear what you'll speak about the boy child, because there are under a lot of pressure, and we'd also like to hear, other than socks, what else can we do for the man? Please, you'll help us understand that as well, because girls have been struggling with that. I'm seeing on social media people are trying to market belts and wallets, but all these things are common, you know. But before we get to talk about the Valentine's Wave and the pressure, we're a Christian television station, and I'd like us to start by talking about this. I know not everyone who's watching us is a Christian, but for the believers who are watching us, I'd bring you in, Cynthia. Tell us, is Valentine's Christian? Should Christians celebrate Valentine's Day?
I believe that just like any other holiday that we have a day for Mother's Day, Father's Day, why not have a day for people who profess to love each other, for people who are married or proposing to get married. It's a beautiful day that you can actually think about your spouse. Not that you're not thinking about your spouse throughout the year,
yes,
but there's a day that actually the two of you can say, this is a day that I want to celebrate you. Now, when we look at the history of Saint Vincent, Saint Valentine, it's very interesting, because I was reading this and I was finding that, yes, there is a legend around the Valentines. And he's supposed to have been a priest or that had been persecuted during the early years, and so what happened, he was incarcerated, ready to be killed. And so it has got all this a whole legend about this man, Saint Vincent. And so he writes a note to the jailer's daughter, who he had actually healed or had prayed for or something like that. That's how the story goes. And on that card that he wrote a note, he said, "Love your Valentine." So it's a good thing that love belongs to God. God is the author of love. God says that we must love one another like Christ loved us. So why not should we be able to profess love in a world that is sometimes full of so much hate, so much fear, so much insecurity, and we can actually, even from mother to daughter, child to parent, say that I love you, I care for you. It's not just, it's not just any other kind of love. It's love that only Christ can bring. I think we should all celebrate
People should celebrate it. Okay. I think it's also nice that you've touched on the history of it, because most times when I hear ministers of the word tell Christians, you are celebrating something is of the world, do you know how it began? But I like how you've touched on the history a bit. Mark Vince, there's this part of the community that believes every day is Valentine's Day, and you've touched on it and say, why not set aside a day? It doesn't mean that throughout the year you don't celebrate your partner, but then there are those who every day is Valentine's Day. So the 14th of Feb is a normal day to me, why the fuss and all that. What do you say about this?
I agree with them. Absolutely. 100%.
Okay. Yeah.
Because you realize at the end of the day, many people subvert the Valentine's Days. It's a day of relationship conmanship.
Okay.
Yes. And I speak it from a clear perspective whereby many people are going to do things, not simply because they love you, but they want to transact with you on that particular day. And so when you just magnify a single day to be a day whereby now I want to say I love Cynthia, then there's where now the problem begins. Should be that we should celebrate each other each day, every day, and we should not just come out with a perspective that is only one day whereby I can bring a flower to Cynthia. Appreciate the day of Valentine, but should not just be that the only day now you want to do some good things in the name that you're a gentleman, in the name that you're Mr. Nice Guy. You're going to be punished
By
severely.
Punished by who?
By your spouse.
Okay.
By the other person. Because you see, you're coming out of your way just to do something, to embrace somebody, not because you have the capacity, but you want to go for the end because you just want to embrace somebody.
Yeah.
You don't want to be natural in your love. But if you're natural in your love, it simply means each passing day you're loving this person, you're doing the best, and then you can also set another day of just appreciating the milestone that you people have come. So it should not only be on 14th.
The 14th.
Yeah, no. You can make it a climax. But it should not be just with the intent that this is the only day once in a year. Me, I always tell my mama that you're special each, and you're not just special on one day of the year, but you're special each day of the year. So if there is a day I choose to celebrate you in a big way, should not diminish or should not mean that I can't celebrate you on other days. So for me, I believe that the people that feel that we should celebrate each other each day, day in, day out, they're very right. Because at the end of the day, many people want to manipulate this day. People want to use this day to blackmail you. People want to use this day to do other wrong things.
Yeah.
So I believe for those people who want to use this day to manipulate this day for their own favor, for their own gains, then it is wrong. It's just like somebody who wants to I was reading a story about somebody who promised a lady to buy him a Ferrari, to buy her Ferrari, sorry. So she goes to Ferrari shop, and before the man gets there, call the Faith who sell Ferrari. Say, I'm coming there, but don't put any Ferrari on the display. So when I walk in, I ask for Ferrari, say they're not here until maybe if we can make an order. So, and for us to make an order, you must pay a deposit. But there's a transaction that they're just playing with the mind of the girl. So after saying, no, you see now, my dear, there is no Ferrari.
We come, but there's no Ferrari.
So let us just pay a deposit. Then the man leaves. And the main intention is he wants to take this lady to the bed. Only that. So because you feel, oh, the guy has already promised that he's going to buy for me Ferrari, I can go and sleep with this man. And then the guy, after sleeping with you, the guy just go and pays like 3,000 or 5,000 to the guy who was selling the Ferrari. And then it's over. Yeah. So you see, so many of the times people transact. Then there is emotional transaction that it's not right. But if you love somebody, you don't have to wait until 14th of February. Each day, that day is only, and Maki realize the people who love each other, even that 14, they may be busy with their work, but they may not feel offensive that you did not buy them a flower. Because all through you have been buying them a flower. All through you have been. So the wave comes in. I've never done anything for you throughout the year. And there's only this one day that it's supposed that. So, but if Faith every day, any other day, I can bring you a flower, I can bring you any gift. So you may not make a fuss that on this 14th, I did not bring you a flower. Because already you know that I've been doing this. But if I've not done this throughout, then you're going I'm going to be held hostage for this particular day, and Cynthia can agree with me, because all through I've not done anything. But if at least I've been doing something in my bigger way, in my small way, you're going to appreciate, say, maybe today he has been busy. Today he was held up. He can make it up for me. But if you're a man or a woman who has never gone out of the way, and I've heard you talking about how can we appreciate men, there's so many ways that we can appreciate
We'll
men.
get to that. We'll get to that.
Yes.
Let's hold on a bit on that. First of all, let's talk about this Valentine's Day. And I like how you've said, do these things that are viewed as extraordinary randomly throughout the year. You don't have to wait for the 14th. Interesting, you use the word hostage. That
you'll be
you
held
hold your
hostage.
partner hostage.
Yeah, you'll be held hostage.
But I'd like to hear from you, Cynthia. Do you agree with what Vincent is saying? What's your perspective of that?
I think my perspective would be a bit different, because if we go to the market today, and Wakulima market, and you want to shop, there may be some bad apples and some good apples. I will not stop shopping because of the bad apples. I'll still shop because I have a need. Now, in this world today, yes, as he says, there are quite a bit of con men. There are people who will look at a certain perspective and feel that this is, that Valentine's Day is a con man kind of festival, and so let's go ahead and throw the baby in the bathwater.
Yeah.
However, it does not take away from the fact that there's a reason why we are celebrating it. You're celebrating it because for God so loved the world that he gave. And since he gave, he has given us the opportunity to give. Now, yes, there are people who will be warped, but we do not stop loving because people are warped. You continue to love. You continue to give. People will still get married, even with the divorce rate that is high. So I would say that to a greater extent, love is celebrated every day. We don't choose just one day to celebrate love.
That's for sure.
However, if we are going to look at Valentine's Day and this particular couple, this young man has been trying to propose or has wanted to propose love to his loved one, or a kid is going to travel all the way home to see his mother and say, Mom, I love you. I would say do it, and do it unafraid, because that's what love is. Love is a sacrifice.
Do it, and do it unafraid.
Unafraid.
All right. I'd like to hear from you who's watching us. Do tell us where you stand on this. On our comment section that is on social media, Kirk TV Kenya, on Facebook and YouTube. Are you expecting anything from your partner the 14th of February? Now, Mark Vince, I'd say the world is a very funny place. I've been seeing memes and videos of comedians who say there are different kind of people. One who feels hot during the night and doesn't want to cover themselves, and one who feels really cold, and then these two people end up marrying each other. And then there's trouble because every night is the blanket, no blanket. And now here you are, and you'd meet a guy who says, Valentines, Bona, what is this? May love my partner every day. And they marry a partner who really values the 14th. And even if you've been buying flowers for them, they still want something extra on the 14th of February. Now what happens?
That's being unreasonable. If you're a woman, I've been buying for you gifts each and every single day. Then on 14th, I don't have money to buy a gift. Why should you feel depressed? Why should, you know, the problem is people want to compare the relationship with other people's relationship. That's the problem. You want to compare your woman with another woman. You want to compare your man with another man. You miss it out. Because at the end of the day, you know, when my man has. And when my man has, he's not stingy. He does this and this and this and this. So you don't have to wait until 14th of February to host to make him hostage. And then I like what Cynthia just said, that for God so loved the world that he gave. And realize it was out of selflessness. He was not compelled to do this by anybody. He had a choice. He could choose not to. He could choose to. But lucky enough, or blessed enough, he chose to give himself. And for me now, I always see that, though he used the word love is sacrifice, but for me I don't see love as a sacrifice. Love is an investment.
What do you mean? Tell us more.
That's what I'm telling you. Love is an investment. It means anytime somebody loves you, he's expecting reciprocation. Because I don't expect, if I'm being good to my wife, my lady, or I don't expect if you are being good to your man or your husband, then he take it for granted. You're not just throwing this love away. At least at the end of the day, you're doing everything so that you can build your relationship. So that at the end of the day, the energy that you're giving in this relationship, at least you can feel the same energy coming back to you. That's it for me. But if it is sacrifice, then it means you're just giving it, you don't expect anything in return. Whether this man or woman hurts you, fine and good. But for me, I've played my role. But in a rough relationship, we are not operating that way. You are doing things and your feeling and your expectations are, there's a level of reciprocation. I may not get 100% from this man or from this woman, but at least I need to see or feel the sense of appreciation.
Okay. And if you don't feel that?
Then you will feel I'm being worked out. You will feel I'm not being appreciated. Because at the end of the day, I may be a husband who works, you're a woman who does not work. So I shouldn't despise you because you are just living in the house. I should also come back home and feel you appreciated for the fact that you are cooking for the family, you are taking care of the children. But if now I come back and I'm not like giving you any positive vibes because you are just a housewife, then you will never feel that love. Even if I'm giving you money, I'm giving you money for food and every other thing, you will feel there is something that is lacking. Because I'm devoted to serve this man, I'm devoted to cook for this man, I'm devoted to take care of our children if the man is out there. So for me, I believe love, it is something somebody is investing in somebody, not just sacrificing, because you're expecting some positive returns. Even the way your husband responds to you, the way your wife responds to you, these are things that you're expecting. Because if you've been so good to your man, you expect that even if you approach that man, there is a way you expect as a human being that he is going to respond in this manner. You don't expect him just to take you for granted. You don't just expect him that to feel that you are useless in him. So that there is attention that you're seeking from this man. Does they say that the 5 languages of love? People should read that and should understand that. So at the end of the day, if there's anything that you're doing in this season, should not just end in this season, should not just end on that day. You should know each and every day the energy that my wife, my partner is giving. She also, as a human being, expect a certain level of energy to be emitted from the other end, whether from the man or from the husband, so that you can have a coexisting relationship whereby nobody feels I'm being taken granted for, nobody feels that I'm wasting my time or I'm getting worked out. Because love, I always say, love is not a stone. Love is it is like bread that should be made each and every day. It should be made.
I love that. Yes,
I wanted to say something. I think as a relationship and marriage coach, and from my experience, in the question that you asked was, what would that couple do? And this is something that I have seen often. And you've got to realize something, Faith. We are different. Men are different, women are different. We cannot go into a marriage or a relationship expecting us to be the same. So what will happen, Faith, is that the guy has been giving, and he spoke about the 5 love languages. His love, his expression of love is giving gifts. And so he feels he had, and possibly an act of service. I have served you. But on this particular day, this girl is expecting to be given as well. And so who is wrong here? You know what I would answer to that couple? No one is wrong. You two are valid. You are valid in the sense that you have an expectation to be given, and you have the feeling. The feeling cannot be nullified. We cannot tell you, you bad girl, for wanting it. And we cannot tell him, you bad man, for not giving it. All these two need to do is to learn something that is so critical. Communication. You see, if we don't learn how to communicate as couples, and for this woman to say that, you know what, this is important to me. This is so, you know what, honey, I love the fact that 364 days you gave me a flower every day. But guess what, on the 365th day, which is February the 14th, imagine even if you gave me a bougainvillea flower, I will do somersaults. You see, she has communicated and stated. And for him, he probably feels says that, you know what, honey, I've given you for 364 days. Imagine I forgot. And he communicates. So the critical piece here is not, you know, somebody's being invalidated or whatever it is. It is the fact that this couple needs to do one thing.
Yeah.
They learn how to communicate. Number two, it will cause conflict. Learn how to fight well. Okay. So it's very, very important that this couple go beyond what that day is and speak and learn how to speak, because there will be more battles they are going to face than February 14th. It will be the birthdays, it will be the anniversaries, it will be the child's you know, closing day. So it's very important, Faith, that this couple learn how to communicate. So that then we're not fighting over the small stuff.
Yeah.
Okay,
I like that. I like how you put it.
I like the same.
Sure.
But one thing that I've said that should not be given a blind eye. The biggest problem is not just about communicating. You can communicate. You can have those conversations. But the moment I want to fashion my life, resembling other people, I go wrong. I may communicate to you, you may communicate to me. But I want you, because today, other men are taking the women out. Even if I tell you I don't have, you're saying so-and-so is taking, so-and-so and so. So as far as we are communicating, let us also learn that the critical part of every relationship is not just love, but understanding.
Okay.
Because understanding is the only foundation and fundamental thing that can hold any relationship. Because how many people have divorced, but they say, but I loved him, I loved her. The only aspect they missed was to understand each other in that critical moment. Yes, communicate, but at the end of the day, understand that communication that has been passed to you. But if I still want my wife, my lady, my woman to treat me the way another woman is treating the husband, it misses out. And there's an analogy that say a couple saw another couple. The man always could get out of the car and open the door, the front door for the wife, for the woman. So, and the other couple was like blaming the husband that, why don't you be romantic like so-and-so, Mr. X? Because every day I see this man. But later on, we came to understand that the man was not romantic. It's only that the door was faulty. So the woman cannot open the door from inside unless the man walks out and go and open the door. So sometimes we have to understand our context, our scenario, so that as far as I agree 100% with what Cynthia said, that nobody should invalidate another person. Once communication is done, try to understand, but don't fashion your life like the neighbor's life. Don't fashion your life like another couple, because whatever you see on the surface, that couple that we see every day, they are being opened the door. The car is faulty. The door is faulty. So try to understand. Have that communication, and that is very critical in any relationship. The moment you mom, because I've seen many of you coming down because you go silent, you expect Faith to speak. Faith also expecting me to speak. So all of us are silent. So I like that aspect of communication. But as we are communicating, let us not give a blind eye of understanding, because I may say, yes, I don't have. But you see, you don't push me. You don't make like, but so-and-so has taken the woman out. But so-and-so has done this, so-and-so. So let us try, as far as we are communicating, let us also tag in that level of understanding, and let us not fashion, especially this 14. Don't hold your woman hostage or your husband hostage. Don't invalidate because so-and-so has been given, because maybe the way you just said, 364 days, maybe you have been given something, and the other person, 364 days, he has not given it, so he has saved enough that he can spend on this one day. So that should be a very key thing that we should not give a blind eye on. All
right, I have a question I'd like to both of you to touch on it. I'll start with you, McVins. You say don't compare, so create your own culture. And in the spirit of communicating and understanding each other, your partner communicates and say, for me, 14th is such a big day. I don't know why, but if you do something for me on the 14th, it will feel extra special, you know. And maybe here's McVins who's like, me, I show you love every day, man. I don't need the 14th to go overboard. I can go overboard any day, anytime. In such a scenario, who should compromise and meet the other halfway?
Okay, for me, I would say we go back to the foundation of understanding. And if you've been in a relationship with somebody for quite a while, you must pick the nitty-gritties in every relationship. So if you know and you understand that giving flowers, giving chocolate, doing any other thing for 364 days will not count unless that one day counts.
So you'll say don't do it?
Then keep yourself safe.
Okay.
And wait for that one day. Then do what they expect. Because that's when you're going to save your relationship. Because there is no way. Because at the end of the day, you don't have to hurt yourself pleasing somebody. No. That one I would say, no. I can't please you by hurting myself. If there is anything like love, love should start with me. I should love myself more than I can love anyone.
But how does that hurt you?
It hurts me in this sense that I feel I've been doing a lot, the way Cynthia said, 364 days. But because I don't have this flower for this one day, then it brings conflict of understanding, conflict of interest between us. So if I have known you that Cynthia valued this 14th day, then I should prepare myself. If I've been buying flour every day, I should now start saving so that at the end of the day, you realize I will not lose anything because whatever I've been doing, I could have been doing every day. I have preserved for this relationship just to do it on this day.
Okay.
And everybody's going away smiling. So none of us will have like compromise in a manner of hurting another one. Every compromise that comes in should be a compromise that should not hurt you or should not hurt me. But any compromise that is so negative that is going to hurt me, then that should not happen. So at the end of the day, I should know. Faith love flowers on 14th. No matter how much I've done throughout the year, if I fail just to hand over a flower on 14th, it is going to water down this relationship, it's going to bring negative vibe. Then I should reserve my resources and say, now, what do? Let me give this woman a poem on this 14th day. So for me, I believe there you would have met halfway, you would have sacrificed other day that you feel you could have loved her even more, but you would have saved a lot in this relationship, whereby your woman will be happy and you'll be happy because you have not lost anything, because the same amount of money or the same gift that you're giving on 14, you would have given it yesterday, but you just hold on it a little bit, wait for this day, and give, because that is so more valuable to her. And on the other hand, I've not lost anything because all in all, I would have still spent this money or I would have still bought her a gift on this day. So I'm giving her the same.
Okay.
So that is my personal view on meeting halfway or full way.
Cynthia, what's your take?
All right. I think one of the things that this couple needs to do is, one, define what Valentine's means to them. They both have to go into the table with a very clear definition, is what is Valentine's. And if we are clear what Valentine's means, then how do we then express ourselves? How do you feel? What's a need? What is a need that I'm meeting? What's the need that he's meeting on that Valentine's Day? Because the need may be different. The need for her is time. And so she's not looking for flowers. She's not looking for chocolates. She's not looking for a trip to Naivasha. She's saying, babe, can we just spend time? Let's make some, some boiled maize and sit by the fireplace. That's what when you define something, then it is easier for the other person to meet the need. So define what this means to us. What does that look like? And then if it's not able to be delivered, is there a possibility, because in marriage or in a relationship there has to be negotiation. Can we negotiate? Yes, the boiled maize may not work. Can we do this instead? Negotiation is part of any relationship. And coming into some sort of compromise. Maybe this weekend is not great because I'm working and I'm going to be busy. Can we do that next weekend? So it's very important that everything is not set in stone. We can't say that, if it doesn't happen now today, kimeumana. You can actually say, can we do it next weekend? Can we do it on Friday? Because Friday I'm off. So it's very important that this couple sit down, negotiate, they communicate, they compromise. And that's what relationships are all about. That's what I would tell them.
Okay. Earlier on, Mark Vince talked about love being an investment. I also like to hear from you about that, where he says, I should not overgive myself, and if I don't feel it's reciprocated, then there's a problem.
I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that because that comes from a place of, I feel like pain. When you have been hurt, you will hold back, all right? But when I look at the scriptures themselves, we are to emulate who God is. Even when you look at Ephesians, the book of Ephesians, Ephesians chapter 5, verse 22, it says, wives submit, and husbands must respect or give themselves like Christ gave himself. When Christ gave himself, he went to literal death. So what that basically means is that in a marriage relationship, there's no 50-50. I don't know where that came from. There's nothing like 50-50.
Yeah.
The world speaks a 50-50 kind of negotiation, where you give me this, I give you that. You scratch me here, I scratch you here. That's contractual. That's a contractual relationship. Okay. So we have to be very clear. Are we getting into contractual relationships where you sign the dotted line and this is what you give me and this is what I give you? But where I come from, love is sacrificial. I give. I give. I don't count the cost, I give. All right? And he gives. He gives 100, I give 100. That math does not make sense. Because it's never going to make sense. But that's God's perfect way. Is it possible that I may not be living God's perfect way? Of course, because I'm a human being. But what we have to understand, that's the perfect will of God. We cannot then say that, it's not possible, it cannot be done. No, we try to live God's way. And so marriage has got to be 100. You understand? I give. I keep giving. I have been married now for 14 years. And I see myself giving. I see Dawn giving to me. I teach that in my marriage classes. Learn to give and give it according to God's standard. Of course, let me tell you something, Faith. Is it possible that couples have been hurt in the midst of giving? Of course. There is pain. Why? Because sometimes we have baggage from pasts. We've been hurt by other people. We've had disappointments and betrayals. Yeah. And that's the truth of the matter, Faith. And so what will happen is that I will be afraid to give because the last person betrayed me. But do I use the inauthentic measure in an authentic relationship? We've got to learn God's way. Yeah. And so that's what I believe. I believe that, marriage is about sacrifices. I like what he said in terms of investing. In a relationship, we've got to invest. We've got to invest time. We've got to invest, in terms of resources. I cannot sit here and expect, okay, sawa, nipatie. What happens, let me tell you something. If I love you, Faith, and I spend time with you, and I give to you, and do you know what happens naturally? We are built to do the same.
Okay.
You naturally, I don't have to come and tell you, Sasa, it's your turn. Your natural response, because that's how God created us, our natural response is that even you will say, hey, Cynthia, what are you doing tomorrow? Can we do this together? Why? Because we naturally respond to love. Even a little child, you'll find that a little child, when they're very young, they respond to the coos and they look, they follow the voice. Why? Because they are being given love. Love is being given, and they learn to reciprocate love naturally. Yeah.
All right.
Faith, I have a question.
Sure.
To Cynthia.
Okay. Yes.
I agree with you, love should be given 100%.
Yes.
Good. Now, when God gave his life to us, he gave it 100%.
Yes.
Does God expect anything from us? After giving his only begotten son to die on the cross for us, out of love, does God expect anything from us?
The question here is...
No,
God,
yes, I'm coming there.
Okay,
does God expect that from us?
He expects us.
He expects us to value that sacrifice that was given for us on that cross of Calvary. That we should live in accordance to that sacrifice. That we should live in accordance to his commands. So that we should not invalidate the sacrifice that was given on the cross of Calvary. We should not take Christ back on the cross, but not living a Christian life. The same applies to me as a human being. When I love you as a woman, you don't tell me that I'm giving 100% and then you just live carelessly. I'm a human being. As far as I'm doing anything, let us be human. And that's why for me, I always say, digest real talk with Mark Vince. And the real talk is, as far as I'm giving you 100% of my love, I don't have to give a blind eye of what I'm receiving. I expect you to respect me. I always say, as the Christ loved the church, and he gave his own life for the church, then wives submit to your husband. It means when the husband is loving a woman, the woman automatically or naturally should submit to this man. So you don't tell me that you have sacrificed love and you don't expect anything. Because surely me as a man, whether you agree or not, once I love you, once I'm doing everything, I expect you as a woman to reciprocate, for me to feel indeed I'm honored here. You as a woman, when you are being loved with a man, you will naturally submit. But I can't force you to submit to me when I'm not loving you. When I'm doing wrong things to you, then I'm forcing you to submit to me. You know, it's like always reminding my child that I'm your father, I'm your father. My friend, I don't have to remind my child I'm the father when I'm doing the right thing. When I'm doing the right thing to my kid, automatically kids know because no, sometimes we do wrong thing to our children, then they start asking, is he really my father? Is he? Yes, he knows you're a father, but the thing that you're doing. So for me, I believe, and I agree with the 100%, nobody should come in a relationship, expect to give 50% and get 50%. You should come in a relationship, expect to give 100% of yourself to it. But once you've given 100% of yourself in any relationship, not just marriage, even friendship, you expect that as far as I'm kind to my people, as far as I'm loving, I'm a loving wife, I'm a loving husband, I'm expecting also my wife to respect. I want to feel the same energy coming on my way. And it's, for me, I believe there is nothing wrong if somebody is your woman, somebody is your man expecting returns from you, because we will be lying to ourselves. That you're in a relationship, that you want to give 100%, and you don't care, it doesn't matter how the other person is responding or behaving to you. You will feel worked out. Because me as a man, maybe you're a housewife, you're going out, you work so hard, you come back in the house, and then you come back with food, and then your wife or your woman says to go back and cook. Trust, no matter how much you love this woman, you're expecting, yes, you're in the house, and I've brought food in the house, at least I expect to find a meal. But if you're sending me again in the kitchen, then I'll feel, wow, even if I'm loving 100%, there is a miss here. But if, yes, I go out, I work, I bring food, you cook for me, I eat, tomorrow I go back to work, I'll feel there is a level of appreciation in this relationship, and I won't feel that my 100% is useless. But sometimes you give your 100% to the point, and that's why you realize there are so many people who happen to be in a relationship, and it happened like to be like a wound with past, that is just waiting that you do like this, and this divorce that are happening, they never happen overnight. They are things that people feel that they are giving so much. They came in with honesty, 100%. They gave their 100% that even the world could tell they never held back. But because the other person took that for granted, the other person never gave the same energy, then the person feel, wow, here I will die. Here I'm being worked out. So as far as we want to give 100%, the nature of a human being, and you see the good thing about God, he never took that humanity away from us. If we could behave like God 100%, then we would be God. So we feel disappointed the way you say, in a relationship, you can be hurt, you can find some disappointment, but this disappointment should not become deliberately. Somebody should not bring force to you deliberately that you're giving 100% and they're giving 50%, and they want you to behave like you're receiving 100%. No. For me, I believe...
Let me say something, Faith, about... he asked me a question and you didn't let me respond about God's love. And it's very important. I want to correct this because so that the audience do not have any misunderstanding about who God is. God is love. He's the very definition of love himself. And when we say that he died, he sent his son, and son died, even if we did not love him, he would still have, the sacrifice has already been done. So it's not the response of my love that validates his sacrifice. Whether I respond or not to his love, every day I sin. That does not invalidate the work that was done on the cross.
Yeah.
So he died that I would respond to his love. But even if I don't, doesn't invalidate that. So that's what I just wanted to correct.
Yes, I agree
so
with
that
you.
then we can, then who we are as imperfect, emulate the perfect God. That's what I just wanted to go ahead and correct.
Okay.
And for me, I don't have an issue with that. I agree with that completely. But the fact we have to agree that God died on the cross so that we as human beings, he expects by his offering his son, we should accept this gift of salvation. Whether you accept it or not does not invalidate him. But the point is, by the fact that God went on the cross, took his son on the cross to die, he expects me as a man to appreciate that sacrifice and live a life that is of honor to him.
Okay.
It's my choice not to live that life.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, there are consequences. Because we never chose God, God chose us first. And that does not validate the sacrifice. But at the end of the day, we should not give a blind eye on this, that what prompted God to go on the cross is because he loved us. And because he loved us, he expects that that sacrifice should also make us to have a turn, to repent, to go back into fellowship with him. And that's why he gave his only begotten son, because there was no any other sacrifice that could take us back to him.
Okay.
So it is your choice to go back to him or remain where you are, but the sacrifice was made.
All right.
So for me as a man, or for you as a woman, you do your good work. You as a wife, you cook for your husband, you do everything. But again, you expect your husband to come and appreciate you what you're doing. You don't expect what once you have cooked for your husband, he comes in the house and starts beating you and just mocking you, and deeply you know you have done nothing wrong. So with the time you realize even that what you call love will start fading. You feel, hey, I'm doing nothing. I'm here. I'm taking care of this man. I'm just expecting us a simple show of apparent love. So I believe when we are approaching the issue of love, let us be cautious that we should not hurt each other deliberately.
Okay.
We should not ignore the efforts others are making towards us. Let us have that energy. We may not reach there 100%, but at least let somebody feel, even if my wife or my husband is not 100%, but there is an effort he's making to appreciate the relation that we have.
Yeah. I feel like we are agreeing with the 100.
Absolutely. That's what we never disagree.
If you're going to a certain level for your partner, then you should feel the same. You should feel loved by this partner. I don't know, Cynthia, what's your take on, here we are in a relationship, things are going well, we're giving 100, then all of a sudden I start feeling less appreciated than before. Because I feel like this is the point Mark Vince is trying to put across. So then now I'm at a point where I feel like I'm not valued in this marriage or in this relationship. I'm not appreciated. My efforts are not being met.
Yeah. I think earlier I had stated that there's a bigger problem there than just appreciation and needs not being met. There's a bigger issue in this relationship, and so what needs to be done is that this couple needs to sit down and do an inventory check on what is really going on. Why is it that I keep doing this and there's no reason? Is there a lack of understanding? Is it the fact that we are not great communicators? What's the real issue? Because I always say that when dalili ya mvua ni mawingu, sometimes we tend to deal with the surface issues. The surface issue is you always leave. We hear this quite a bit. You always leave your socks on the table. You always. And the thing is, possibly, there could be an underlying issue. Either he is just lazy and just leaves things all around, or what's the real problem? Can we deal with the real issue? Because what happens in relationships, if you find a habit keeps repeating itself over time, it's important you stop beating that issue on the surface. Get to the bottom of it. What's the real issue? Can we really talk about why this thing that is so important to me. I keep talking about it. It's not happening. Let's learn how to communicate it openly. If not, invite other people into the conversation. Trusted counselors, experienced counselors that will come and help you deal with that issue.
Yeah. All right. I'd like us to take a very short break. Sure. It was we were building a little church in here, but I also like when we talked about that
before
aspect.
We go to break,
Okay.
I want
briefly.
On inventory. Maybe I would ask Cynthia. On the issue of inventory, should this be done on the beginning of a relationship, or should be done when now you feel things are not going right? Because many of us always get in a place, and then now we start realizing there are things that we missed. So you as a relationship coach, which should be the starting point?
This
inventory should be taken after, when you feel things are not going right, or you should take when you're starting, so that people should know Cynthia is like this, and this is what to expect, this and this.
Okay. Inventory will be done at the beginning of a relationship, consistently throughout your relationship. Just like when you have a shop, you will not take inventory the first time you buy stuff. You will keep taking inventory. Any healthy couple will always do an evaluation.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, right. Let's take a very short break. To keep it right here, of course, this conversation can only get better from here henceforth. Of course, I'd like to hear from you. What's your take on our topic of discussion today, the Valentine's wave? Do interact with us on our social media pages. That is Kirk TV Kenya on Facebook and YouTube. We are taking a very short break. We'll be back in a few.
How many minutes?
The Presbyterian Church Men Fellowship, PCMF, welcomes all PCMF readers to the annual Readers Conference year 2023 in Milere Beach Hotel, Mombasa, as we mark the journey of 50 years from when the idea of having a men fellowship was mooted since 1973. Keep registering, keep paying up through our group's account in Family Bank.
Our year 2023 theme for the conference comes from the book of Hebrews, chapter 10, verse 24. And it says, motivated men in a love for good works.
Are you looking to grow your business? Kirk TV offers you a variety of advertising opportunities to suit your budget. Advertise with us today and reach your potential customers countrywide. For more information, email us on sales@kirktv.org or call 011 00 90 647.
Greetings to all of you who watch Kirk TV programs. I send you Christian love and peace from all the Kirk family and the entire ministry. Since God gave us this Kirk TV, which is a very competent means of reaching people in and outside Kenya, Kirk TV is undoubtedly giving good and effective services to many people wherever our signal reaches. It is evident that God is at work through Kirk TV. We therefore need your loving support through your continuous prayers. We also appeal passionately for your generous financial support to help us be on air as the Lord will require us to do and to be. Please plan to give regularly. Please give occasionally, or you can begin to give a one-time gift. The scripture is right that you will be made rich in every way so that you can be generous on every occasion, and your generosity will result in thanksgiving to God. Please respond to this genuine, urgent appeal. Kindly be a Kirk TV partner. May God bless you abundantly as we join hands to do this good work.
To partner with us, send your financial support to pay bill number 401-9613, account partner. Pay bill number 401-9613, account partner.
Wĩhithe thakame-inĩ ya Kristo nĩ tondũ noho hena ũhurũko na thayũ. Bwana pesifa. Indo-inĩ ciaku gũtirĩ na ũhurũko nĩ tondũ ona watua gũthikwo gũtirĩ hingo tũrĩ twathoma rũgano rwaku tũkauga nĩ atiga ngari 10 na mboroti 400 kũrĩa mwena wa Aramu na ngenge ciegĩtengera. Gũtirĩ handũ handĩkagwo ũguo, wandĩkagwo watiga atumia 3 na ciana 4. Ũhoro waku ũgĩka atĩa? Thutha wa wiki 2 tukariganĩrwo nĩwe na tukanjĩrĩria mũtũrĩre witũ o ta kawaida. Okorwo ndũrabangĩte nyũmba yaku tugoka tukanjĩrĩria kũrũĩra kĩ? Indo. Ĩro cio ngĩbanga nyũmba yaku wega. Bwana apewe sifa.
Morning with me, Faith Kaulo. In studio with me is Cynthia Wambuyo Tieno and Mark Vince, and we're having quite an interesting discussion today. I see some of your comments. Someone here says every day is Valentine's Day. If you can treat your love on Valentine's Day, do it. If you can't afford it, leave it. And me, I'd like to argue with this because 14th of February doesn't come by surprise. We don't wake up, it was 5th and then it's 14th. We know 14th comes. So if you need to save, if you need to do something, I mean, you plan. That's the whole point. So, but yeah, thank you for engaging us. You keep your comments coming in on our Facebook and YouTube page. That is Kirk TV Kenya. We are live, so you can comment down below and we'll have a look at them. But right about now, let's start by looking at the gifts. Cynthia, you'll also tell us, though it has been said ladies are easy to please. Give them a bouquet of flowers, chocolate, and that's it. But do they want something else, like something tangible they can last a while? But as you think of that, let's start with you, Mark Vince. For a while, men have been receiving socks, and they are complaining on social media. Actually, I saw a campaign on men, take socks no more, because you already have enough socks. What else can be gifted to men?
Now, you know, the problem is people don't understand what a gift is. Nobody gives you a gift because you're poor.
Okay.
Nobody gives you a gift because you're rich. A gift is given either when you don't have or when you have. A gift is from a heart, and the act towards you receiving that. So for me, that is very simple. That someone may give you a car, but in a negative way. That's what I'm saying. You know, like, there are many people who are going to cry after this Valentine. They were going to cry. Why? Because they gave these gifts with the wrong intent, with the wrong perspective. Some of them, if you're a man, you give flowers, you give expecting sex that will never come. You're going to give gifts, flowers, expect you to propose, and then they accept, and then they turn you down. So you will go away hurt. You don't give gifts because you're expecting anything. That's now, for me, I think gift is given from your heart. Then realize, I always like giving an example of our late president, Kibaki, because I remember when they were gifting him. They gifted him a tractor to go and farm. Can he afford a tractor?
Yes.
Yes. But it was a show of gratitude.
Okay.
So for me, I believe gift, don't expect bigger, or there are no bigger or small gift, because the attitude. Somebody may give you a car, but that's a grave for you. It's the person digging a grave for you. And somebody just give you a simple flower, just one leaf of a flower, but with great attitude, honesty, and desire the best for you. So for me, just don't go out of your way. Do something like you know. Whether the person will accept or refuse you, you won't regret.
Okay.
Give somebody you are ready to lose. But most of us are going to hang ourselves, are going to cry because we gave something that we are not ready to lose. Because if I give Cynthia 1,000, I'm ready. It doesn't matter. I'm giving it out. Once it leaves me, I won't regret after. But if I come, I'm giving her 5 million, and I'm geared towards, I give her this one, but I'm expecting this. When she don't give me what I was expecting, then I start crying. I feel I've been duped. I've been robbed. But that should not be the way. So in this Valentine Day, I don't know if I've ever given a gift. Maybe this time I'll give a gift. I don't remember. Maybe I'll give a gift. But if I give a gift, it should be a gift that is coming from my heart. There's nothing. So even if that man, and you see the way you have just said, I go back. It's not an abrupt thing. It does not just come. I know, like, if you have been close to somebody, then I go back to what Cynthia said, that you understand. You have been communicating with your partner. And I believe part of the interest part of communication is sometimes you do what we call investigative talk. Investigative talk is whereby say, now unapendanga kala gani? No, like, you don't do it today because I don't know what you are talking about, but previous, because you're intending maybe to give to somebody on this Valentine, you have been talking about colors. Say, what kind of a dress color do you like? What kind of a shoes? Today, if somebody decided to take you out for lunch, what is your favorite meal, or what is your common meal you like to eat? So at the end of the day, you already have clues. So if your man say, and you, what kind of a shoes, or what kind of a socks color? So you realize it's just a socks, but you already know my preference. So if you bring me that sock, I'll feel happy. Say, hey, this is what I like. This is what I. So but at the end of the day, it should be the way I go back, communication. If you have done your investigative talks with somebody, you have probed them towards their likes and dislikes, then I'm sure whatever you're going to present to them, it will be good for them. And don't go out of your way to hurt yourself in the name that you want to please somebody. Because at the end of the day, the buck will start and stop with you. The person will go away smiling. You remain here mourning and crying and say, and you start cursing Valentine the way Cynthia was saying. You start cursing Valentine for nothing. Valentine is not evil. But because you're going to do things and expect returns that are not coming, then you start hating by saying, oh, Valentine is a bad day. No, it is you who are not properly, you're not cultured well. So if you're cultured well, you'll know giving a gift is not about how big or small it is. It's about your attitude, And the person you're going to give a gift, you're not going to give them because they can't get a gift from somewhere else, not because they are poor, not because they are rich,
they don't have.
not because they don't have, because you're going to give somebody a gift, but he can get a better gift than you can offer. They have just given an example of the president. He was given a tractor, but how many tractors do you think he could afford? But he received it with joy because he knew from the source of the gift. Then that's what lies the uniqueness of what you're going to give.
Let me tell you, a lot of people who are watching have had a sigh of relief because maybe they were thinking, now what do I get, and scratching their heads. But if it's the intention that matters, so anything little or big. And
then we go back to what Cynthia just said, communication, understanding.
Yeah.
If you've been communicating, then you will know it's not about how big or small it is. You know the intention of my partner. And let us not forget, a gift is not being just given to those people in a relationship between wife and husband. And you can give a gift even to your a friend, your mother, your father. Appreciate them.
All right.
So don't just think about, because now I don't have a girl, I can't give a gift. Because I don't have a wife. No. You can even have a wife. Even Cynthia's here, and maybe if he has said a good point, you can tag him, you can bring for him a bouquet of flowers. Say, Cynthia, whatever you say to me really helped me. I'm going to improve my relationship. It's just show of appreciation.
All right.
That's for me.
Okay. Cynthia, we come to you.
What was the question again? I'm sorry.
The question was, okay, what kind of gifts could, for a man who's watching us, for ladies, what kind of gifts do they like other than chocolates and flowers? Because that is what is famously known out there.
Yeah. I think sometimes it's been over commercialized. So like what he said, investigative communication is so important, because what your girlfriend or your friend wants will be totally different from the woman next door.
That's for sure.
So things that I have seen that have really worked is a spa is such a good, thoughtful gift, especially in this very stressful stressful environment that we are in, with the harsh weather.
Yes.
You know, the hot sun, the city of 1,000 suns. Please treat her to a spa date. If not, women love looking good. They want to have their hair done, their nails done. They want to look pretty. You can also get a gift voucher for that. A good meal somewhere. Even if it's a kibandeski, at least, you know, they want to spend time with you. It's a good meal. It can be a shopping voucher, even from a supermarket. With the way the commodities are so expensive, a tray of eggs will go a long way. Hey! A tray. Show up with a tray of eggs and say, you know, I just thought about you, you know? And it's just the little things that count. So whatever she likes, be it the tray of eggs or a spa date or a weekend in Naivasha or whatever it is, be thoughtful, make it meaningful, make it count. And even if it means that coming home, you're a husband, you decide today I'm babysitting the children and I'm going to make the moturai and ugali. Why not? Because this is how I want to express my love to you. So it's not always about the gifts. It's about the time spent. It's let me babysit. Well, you go ahead and sleep for 2 hours. Because this is Valentine's, I've given you a free pass for tonight. And those are the things that really count. It's not about what money can give. It's about what the heart can give.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow. There's a question here, great conversation on defining the relationship between partners. How do you understand your spouse's love language?
Beautiful, beautiful. How you understand your spouse's love language, you've got to remember this. This is the language they speak, just like I speak Kikuyu. My husband speaks Luo. Now, if he comes at me and starts to speak to me in Luo, however much he loves me and however much he's communicating to me, I have no idea what he's saying, just as much as me going to speak to him in Kikuyu. So what would be effective is if I learned his language and I spoke to him in Luo, then I would then be able to meet his need, vice versa. So the 5 love languages are expressly the same way. Your husband or your wife has got 5 languages that he has a capacity to speak. He has got the acts of service. And acts of service are the things, the doing things that, you know what, when you come home, you make him chapati and dengu. And when you serve him that chapati and dengu, it really makes him feel loved, celebrated, and needed. It can be the fact that when she walks into the door, she finds her slippers and a bathrobe waiting. You know, an act that makes him feel celebrated or her feeling celebrated. There's time, and we call it a good quality time. It's not just time, it's good quality time. When you go into, when you actually create, you carve out time for me. It's time that means that, you know what, out of my very busy schedule, between 1 and 2 p.m., I want to spend time with you, Faith. Why? And we can even just sit down and look at each other. It doesn't have to be time that we're doing stuff. It can be that we were just let's sit and look at each other. It's just time, quality time, quality time. This person loves quality time. The third one is touch. Now, we've got to be very careful with touch because it has to be non-sexual touch. Touch is, have you met people, Faith, that whenever they talk to you, they will high five here? You know, they always talk, hey, oh yeah, you know, they keep tapping you, they can fist bump you, they give you hugs, they touch you. Their expression of love is through touch. This is the way of them saying that I love you, I care about you, I need you. Remember, it's non-sexual, so it can happen between a woman and a woman because it's non-sexual. Then the fourth, we are now on the fourth, there is acts, what do you call affirmation? Words of affirmation. Now, words of affirmation is not just like you look good in that dress. Words of affirmation is that, you know what, the way you listen to me and the way you keep, you keep expressing yourself towards me makes me feel that you're really listening to me and that you're engaged in what I'm saying. You're really good at what you do, Faith. So what I have just done is given you a word of affirmation that you're really good at, you're a really good listener, and even qualified it by how you do it. So words of affirmation, this person just feels loved, celebrated, needed by those words. And then the last one is gifts. We've talked about gifts until the cows come home. So those are the 5 love languages. Now, what would happen is that you as Faith speak these 5 languages, at least 2 of them, and your spouse speaks another 2. You need to discover that so that you can start to speak his language to him, and he speaks your language to you.
Maybe just to add on, maybe I'll touch on the words of affirmation. I think these are the most critical part of it. Because sometimes you just come home, you get a good meal, you eat and go back to bed. You don't even appreciate. Say, wow, the meal was good. You realize you're putting doubts to your woman. Did he enjoy the meal? Was there anything wrong about it? But if the moment she understands that you affirm the food, tomorrow, if the food will not be tasted and tell her, oh, today you're busy, she will not take any offense. But if you want to be that person who only comes out with words because you want to discredit, then nobody will believe you. Nobody will see it on any positive way. Another thing, people should learn just telling others, you're smart. As simple as that. And as you realize, your woman comes out of your house, you as the man, you don't even tell them they are smart. They go out there, a very strange man, stranger, and you see, she starts to feel more valued by an outsider than you. So you realize, and you see, these are now the platform most of us are creating, even for our women to start cheating, our women start going out there, and because they're simple things, just words of affirmation. You look good, your hair look nice, you're beautiful. You know, when a woman gets this from his own man, her own man, then it enlightens them. It makes them feel this man up. Because at the end of the day, realize a woman may not bother or care what every other man talk about or about shaming them. But once she can have the confidence that my man like the way I dress, like the way I talk, like my food, that's enough motivation for them. So even if somebody tell them you're not smartly dressed, but she remembers. Even while I left my house, my husband told me I'm smart, I'm beautiful, and that is enough. So let us learn just to affirm people when they do something. Because one thing I always say that if you don't appreciate people when they do good, how will they know they've done wrong? they have done wrong. So appreciate people when they do good. When they don't do good, again, tell them. Tell them. So people will always know. They will always have a clear cut that if I do good, I'll be affirmed in a positive way. If I do wrong, I'll be corrected. And you realize people will always strive whereby they are being praised. And last but not least, in the words of affirmation, they say, praise loudly, that even the third and fourth person can hear about it, but correct very silently, that even the next person cannot hear about it. That you're going to build self-esteem in what people are doing. But if you become that person who want to criticize very loudly, that everybody is like, the people will never take it as a correction, will take it like you want to shame them. You want to discredit them. You want to paint a negative picture about them. But if somebody realizes that when he does something wrong, even if I'm your husband, like, and especially this comes from husband. Imagine your husband, yes, he's wrong. And he starts shouting. You never admit your mistake. You never see that he has done anything wrong. In fact, now he'll turn against you. But if he comes and say, no, this one you have done is wrong, he'll feel that he has been honored, he has been loved by the woman. But when somebody does something good, shout. You're smart, you have done this. People are going to live very positively.
Okay. Maybe when we're still on this topic of love language, I'd like us to talk about this. What are the dangers of not understanding your partner's love language?
Okay, it's pretty much communication. I cannot underemphasize that when we learn love languages, what we are really trying to say, I don't know you, I want to discover you, and I want to discover how to meet your need. You understand? Because I want to be with you for a very long time, and I want to be able to not just meet your need surface level. I want to meet your emotional need. I want to meet your, in terms of intimacy, social need. I need to meet all the needs that you have. So if you do not know each other's love language, then what it means that you may be serving your own language. For example, if let's say my love language is acts of affirmation and gifts. I come and I keep buying you a gift. I buy you a gift. Monday, December, January. Do you know what happens? I feel like, hey, I love her. I love Faith. And so I've been buying her gifts. So what happens? I have an expectation that this person should appreciate. But remember, you're speaking a language I don't understand. And for me, it does not hit me as love. Because for me, gifts are okay, but if only you just sat down with me and we talked every day for 1 hour, that makes me feel so good, makes me feel so loved. Can you see now that will be a problem? Because this person can actually go to a marriage session, counseling session, and say, this woman does not love me. Actually, I've been buying her gifts, I've been doing this, I've been doing this. But the thing is, you've been loving her your way instead of loving her way. So it's very important for these two people to speak their love language, to understand it, so that you start to give each other what your love language is.
All right. Yeah. Thank you for putting it that well. We are talking about the Valentine's wave. Of course, there's a lot of pressure, not only for the boy child, but the girl child as well, because the culture that has been built around it is, of course, you celebrate it in different ways with your partner. I'd like you to speak about this, Mark Vince. But don't be a defender of the boy child, because the girl child is also under pressure to do something. So talk to both genders. Yes. For someone who's feeling a lot of pressure, someone who's wondering, how do I make this day stand out? What is your advice to them?
If you want to make this day stand out, don't do things that you're going to regret after this day. Don't go out of your way. Be yourself. Remain yourself. Don't allow this day to change you. Be that person. And simply means be the loving person you can ever be. Do the right and great thing that you know you can always do. But we don't have a formula. We don't have a list of gifts that are going to indicate that you're a great lover, you're a great woman, you're a great man. But we have something that we can focus on: your attitude towards this day. Don't condemn those who want to celebrate it. Don't go overboard and you want to behave like the other person. the way Jacinta say, that a woman in this door does not deserve or does not need a gift like the woman in the next door.
Yeah.
You don't know what they're going through, because people have different bank accounts. People have different pockets. Even some don't have pockets. So if you want to be treated the same way, a man who has a pocket and a man who doesn't have a pocket, you want them to treat you the same way, then you're going to get it wrong. And if you expect your woman to receive a flower from you, and she does not expect a flower, then that's why now you go back to the drawing board. You have to understand that what are the little things that I can do to make this day exciting? What are the little things that that's why I say that love does not start, neither does it end on a Valentine's Day. That's why you should, each passing day, you should learn something about your spouse.
Yeah.
You should learn something about your parent. You should learn something about and you see, this only happens if you spend time with them. I go back to the Bible. When Isaac wanted to bless Esau, he told him, go to the wild, to the game, and bring me a game, and prepare for me a delicious meat that I love. Then I always ask myself, how would Esau know that this is the kind of a meal my father loved? It means he had taken time to stay with the father. He has taken time to listen to the father. He has taken time to go out with the father, and he has known the kind of a meal the father likes. So if you have been close to people, if you have been talking to people, if you have been walking out with people, then it will tell you the kind of a gift they're going to appreciate. And because you realize a sparrow never flies with eagles, an eagle never flies with sparrows. Eagle flies with eagles, sparrow flies with sparrows. So it means the people that you are with, they are in your category. The journey that you have been going, visiting together, they are the same. They won't change because of Valentine. Unless you want to step a little bit higher, and that should be voluntarily, that should be from you, should not come from any external pressure. And that is going to make you happy. So don't put yourself, don't take a loan to embrace a woman during this Valentine.
Yeah.
Don't take a loan to embrace a man during this Valentine. You're going to suffer. You're going to cry. Just live within your means. If you can go in a Kibandaski, go in Kibandaski. If you can go in Kempinski, go in Kempinski.
Okay.
But don't go to Kempinski, then start lamenting later. Don't go in Kibandaski if you can afford Kempinski. You're also a stingy man. You're a stingy woman.
Yeah.
Yes, you can put your resources together. The way you just say that it's not about just give. You can decide, let us go out on a picnic. And you see, you can cook food in your house. You can cook food in your house. You don't have to go and buy food in a hotel. And then just choose a place. Go sit down. Have quality time together. Last but not least, the best gift that you can ever give somebody this Valentine's Day, and this is a gift you'll never get back, and that shows how expensive and precious it is. It's your time.
Okay.
You can make more money, you can buy more chocolate, but the time you have chosen to spend with somebody this Valentine, it's a time you'll never get back. That tells you that is one of the most valuable, treasurable gift you can ever give. So don't spend that gift of time on anyone who is useless to you.
All right.
Because you're going to regret. You're going to regret because, hey, you wasted my time. Don't get to that point where you're going to say somebody wasted your time, because this is a gift you will never get back. It is given to us by God in only one fold. Once you spend it, it is gone. So spend it wisely. Don't spend this gift of time, get pregnant, and then you start complaining that the man is not there.
Yeah.
Don't spend this time to have sex and then get infected with HIV or any other venereal diseases. Right now we have a gonorrhea, then you start regretting. So when you choose to spend time, to give a gift of time in this Valentine, let it be a noble gift. Let it be for nobility.
Okay.
Let it be for nobility, so that you don't regret after it. You never get another set of such a time.
All right. Cynthia, I'd like you to speak on something. Nowadays, when you go on social media, influencers, let me say that, do different tags, question tags. And yesterday I saw a lady commenting and saying, the man is just unromantic. You know, he suggested to him, let's go out, let's order takeout. But nothing has happened to him. I mean, let's cook. If we have flour at home and we can buy skuma wiki and meat, let's cook and enjoy the meal inside the house. And Valentine's is coming, and I think a lot of people are in such kind of a situation. You've communicated your need, but your partner doesn't change. You know, it's just unresponsive to that. Yeah. I'd like you to speak on that. What would you tell them? Because of course they feel like they're not being met emotionally or romantically, as well as speak on the importance of creating your own culture, because we've talked about every couple is unique, every relationship is different, so create your own culture. How do we want to celebrate Valentine's Day? So the importance of also just sitting down and creating your own culture as a couple. Yeah.
Okay. For the first part of your question, this woman has hinted until the cows come home. She has suggested, she has left, you know, the Hansel and Gretel crumbs, and nothing is happening. I would say that there's something called the 80-20 rule. Is that if your husband is meeting 80% and the 20% is just the Valentines, please stop crying about that 20%. He's meeting all, I mean, when it comes to the relationship, where you are at, your husband or your boyfriend or whoever it is, 80% of what is good about your relationship. Are you thriving? Are you growing? Are you meeting some of your goals? Are you guys growing? If, you know, as a couple, are your children safe in a thriving environment? Is that the 80%? So this 20% is that probably he is a guy who grew up in an area where he does not understand what Valentine's is, and he has chosen that that's not. Please stop fighting. Stop sweating the small stuff, because really it's just one day. So the 80-20 rule is celebrate the 80 that is happening in your marriage or in your relationship. The 20% leave it to God. Because, you know, marriage is a very long time, or a relationship is a very long time, where you can grow, and at some point in time he may change if you're married. Now, if you're in a dating relationship and you have seen that this man doesn't seem to care, you're dating, you're not married, but you're dating, and you see, and this is important to you, and you feel that, he never seems to remember the important dates, and one of them is Valentine's, one of them is my birthday, one of them is the fact that, you know, whatever it is, and you feel this is important and it's a deal breaker, then this should be then a red flag for you, because you will never be satisfied, you'll never be happy. So you'd rather know this now before you get into a commitment that leads into marriage. Then you can say that, you know what, maybe this does not meet my needs, move on swiftly. But if you're married, look at the 80-20 rule and make up your mind. Now, the second part of your question, which I have forgotten.
The importance of creating your own culture.
It's very important. And I think that's what we have talked throughout, is the importance of creating culture. It's the two of us have got to define what is this relationship. And I am such a stickler to that, because I feel that at the beginning of any relationship, I feel it's the beginning of us sitting down and deciding, where are we going? Tunaenda wapi? Why are we going where we are going? What will it take for us to get where we are going? Because if, let's say, for example, you were even packing a suitcase, you had better know where you're going. Because where you're going, you will need everything that you need to accommodate your journey. Now, if that's the case, then you need to define everything. There's nothing too small or too big in a relationship that does not need to be defined. It can be, how do we handle gifts? How do we handle who gives what gifts? How do we handle the communication around the gifts? Because you know what? You may have a culture within your family that all of us meet on Valentine's Day, na tunakula keki pamoja and exchange gifts. And this guy, on his side of the family, Valentine's ni nani? You know? So you've got to understand what is this that we have. And especially now, if you're married, you've got to decide, okay, this is how we used to do it at home, and this is how this one did it at home. What is our new definition? What is our culture? And you two have got to come to a compromise as to this is what we want as our home to be. So define it for yourselves. And what happens is that in every family, you can keep re-evaluating every couple of years. We find that, you know, the first time we got married, we were doing all these things, and then now we've been married 14 years, you redefine it, because there's some things that are no longer important to you, and you say, okay, now we are trying to buy the plot in Kitengela, and you know, with the house in the, I don't know, so you say, okay, let's save that money, let's put it towards here. So keep evaluating, keep checking yourself, because even as a woman, the older you grow, your needs are going to change. As a man, your needs are going to change. Keep checking yourself and ensuring that you're grounded, you're safe, and you're communicating.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for coming today. Before we end the program, I'd allow you to leave us with your parting shot. What would you like to leave us with, Mark Vince?
For me, I repeat what I said. Don't go out there to give a gift because you want sex. You're going to cry. Don't go out there to give a gift because you want a man to marry you. You're going to cry. So be sober during this Valentine. Whatever you choose to do should be something that you're ready to part way with. Should be something that you will never regret, even if things don't work. But if you want to give because your expectations, and you see, last I could just say, the worst enemy of every relationship is your expectations. Nothing else. The higher the expectation, the higher the disappointment. The lower the expectation, the lower the disappointment. So whatever you're expecting this Valentine may be your breaking point or your makeup point. So just go there sober. Don't blackmail anybody to do what you want. Don't hold anyone hostage. Let people give you a gift out of free will, and that is going to show who you really are to them. It's going to bring your real value to them. But if you coerce them to do something, they will do because they just want. Because a key principle of love is you can give without loving, but you can never love without giving. That's a very key principle to me. You can give everyone everything, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you love them. Maybe you just want to sleep with them. Maybe you just want to please them for that moment. Maybe you just want to cut off the argument. But trust me, if you love somebody, you will always give. It's simply because it is very natural for you, because you will be compelled out of love, nothing else. And that is not about how big or small it is. It is at the center of the love you have for the other person.
All right. Thank you. Thank you for that.
Yes. All right. So my parting shot is, love is beautiful. Love is God's idea. So this Valentine's, take time to hug your children closer. Teach them that love is beautiful. Teach them that it's God's idea. Take time to honor the people around you, your friends, your workmates, your colleagues, your spouse, your girlfriend. Honor them, respect them, and honorably be able to celebrate them in the ways that brings honor to God and honor to yourself. Yeah.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you for coming today. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
And to dear viewer, thank you so much for tuning in as well. We appreciate you. In studio with me has been Cynthia Otieno, and Mark Vince, and we've had such a lovely discussion. We end the program right here because time is not on our side. Unfortunately, we cannot continue further with this program, but keep it Kirk TV. Enjoy the rest of our programming. Till next time, my name is Faith Kaulu. Goodbye.
Awesome.